Ask the Messengers, the program that deals with substance abuse, real people telling real stories. Where there is addiction, there is a chance for recovery. We're trying to help save lives on Ask the Messengers.
That rehab world is just like how would I say it? A utopic world. Everyone's
Right, what is it like?
It's like everyone's happy, everybody's positive, and we're gonna win, and don't worry about it. And everybody has hard stories, but they're overcoming, and that's awesome, man. Some people think it's even like a cult, but that's just an awesome spirit, and just to be in the midst of when it's really properly performed, you know.
Sports play a major part in the growth and development of our children. No matter the race, religion, ethnicity, or age, children love sports. There is not a household in the world where a child doesn't want to be part of the team. According to ActiveKids.com, roughly 45 million children are playing in organized sports. But what happens when they don't make the cut, get hurt, or have to seek medical attention for an injury? Did you know that by the time high school athletes become seniors, 11% of high school athletes have used a narcotic pain reliever or an opioid such as Oxycontin or Vicodin for non-medical purposes? That means 1 in 9 have abused a prescribed drug to get high. Today on Ask the Messengers, you will hear a few athletes sharing their stories of how sports injuries led them on a journey of drug addiction and how they overcame it. Also in this episode, we go one-on-one with President and CEO of Fourth Quarter Sports, Shawn Harvey, who shares his story about how God told him to quit his job of 7 years to mentor and train children through sports. Ask the Messengers begins now.
Life is really short and it's unpredictable, and we have to enjoy every second of it and know there's going to be ups and downs, and no one has any exclusivity to pain. We're going to all experience it. No one's getting out of here free. We're going to endure life, harsh punishments, and there's rewards. That's just the way the world is. I understand myself more. I was just a young boy that just didn't understand myself and never gave myself any time to grow or just anything. I just thought I was tough, and I just wanted to believe that. And really, we're in a different world. This world we live in, this is not a tough man's world. This is a thinking man's world. You know what I mean? Tough men get hurt in this kind of world. So we have to try to be appropriate in our thinking and our manner. You know, I just try to the best of my ability, of course, you know, just do the right thing.
I played 8 years in the NFL. A lot of injuries, left the game with serious back and neck injuries. You know, when you're in pain, you take the painkillers. And in the beginning, it was normal, about 120 pills a month, but it quickly escalated to 400 to, at my worst, I was taking 800 pills a month. And my tolerance level when I left the NFL was extremely high. So when I did have, you know, problems with my neck and my back, what you would take 1 Vicodin, I needed 4 Vicodin. And it escalates from there. Oxys, Roxys, Percocets, Vicodin, Somas, muscle relaxers, anything I could get my hands on. I had 3 doctors at the time prescribing medication, but obviously I was going outside of the prescription world. When you get to a certain point where you're taking 800 pills, you're not so much taking it for the pain anymore. Your body needs it to function. And you wake up with the thought of pills on your mind, you go to sleep with pills on your mind, and you will sell yourself to the devil to make sure that you have them. Here's the funny thing. When I was doing the TV, I'm a professional, so I would stop taking the pills the day before. The hardest part was after the show was over, I would go get my truck. I would take 15, whatever I had, right away, because I was afraid the pain was going to catch up to me. Now, if I got stuck in traffic, I took 20 more. This is the life of an addict. You're not even thinking that you're in a vehicle that can kill just about anybody. But you don't think that way. You're so afraid of the pain that the pills are the most important thing. And the cycle is vicious. Suicide, depression, I had all of it. Planned the day I was going to kill myself. Didn't want to do it in the house because my wife and kids were there, but they would go to church on Sunday. So I said, I'm going to take my truck and drive off the GW Bridge. This is the cycle of an addict. You get to the point where you just don't think you're used to anyone anymore. The rehab for me was a 42-day lockdown facility. To be honest with you, I was just going to pacify my wife. I didn't want to be there. I didn't think I had a problem, but that is addict speak. For me, that worked. But in reality, a lot of people don't have the luxury of going for 30 to 60 to 90 days. That executive, the mother of three. So now that I'm aware of things that are available for addicts to help themselves, I come and tell my story and hope that I'll reach one, not two, just one. So I'm not ashamed that I'm an addict. I say it proudly. I'm stronger than I have ever been in my entire life. Mentally, physically we're still working on and stuff, but for me to reach that one person out there who thinks they're alone, I thought I was like one in tens of millions of people. And it's not the case. This is now a chronic disease epidemic in the United States. There's a lot more of us out there than you think. And if we help each other, just get to a website and take the chance of getting help, then my job is done.
So Max, are you ready for the gym today?
Yeah.
All right, so we're just gonna knock it out today. We're gonna be ready, all right? I'll be in there.
Coming up, founder of Fourth Quarter Sports, Shawn Harvey, shares how God came to him in a dream and told him to quit his job and mentor youth through sports. Ask the Messengers. We'll be right back.
Like, you don't know about smoking, weed, getting high, trees, you don't know nothing about that?
Marijuana is bad for teens because it can make you do things that you'll regret later on in life. And if you smoke marijuana, you could become addicted to other drugs.
There are many reasons why teens shouldn't do drugs because it can affect your body, your grades, and also your future.
Kimberly has been raped, stabbed, beaten, and left for dead. But guess what? Through God's grace and mercy, Kimberly is still standing. There is no sound in my scream. Drugs, Truth, and Faith is a highly recommended book written by Kimberly E. Mallory.
Never will I give up, no matter what, simply because God never gave up on me.
This 70-page book is her testimony about how her struggles and triumphs with drug addiction. Get your copy of There Is No Sound in My Scream, Drugs, Truth, and Faith by Kimberly E. Mallory, available now on Amazon.
Welcome, Judge Mathis. Thanks for coming to share an important message with the Wayne County taxpayers.
Well, thank you for allowing me to help. You know, most of my life I was a resident of Wayne County, and so I'm here to help because Treasurer Shabri wants to work with Wayne County homeowners to keep families in their homes and prevent foreclosure.
If you're having trouble making your property tax payments, let us know. We have many resources to help.
Already in the payment plan? It's important you stay in good standing.
Making property tax payments is now easier than ever. We have placed payment kiosks in community centers across the county. We've also added kiosks in our offices. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com.
And remember, stay safe, save time, make your appointments and payments online.
Hi, my name is Artesia Washington, and I'd like to welcome you to Irvine Newer Rehab, where we help you reach your goals of rehabilitation. So you ask, why choose Irvine? Now here at Irvine, we offer physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech and language pathology, counseling, aquatic therapy, and massage therapy. And we help build you back to your previous level of functioning. Give us a call, 248-415-2500, www.irvinenewerrehab.com.
So welcome to the show, Coach Shawn. I'm going to call you Coach Shawn. So I've been reading your bio, and you were the star athlete at Clinton High School, 12th grade. You got a new coach, and y'all didn't agree, and he told you you were not good enough. How does a coach tell a kid they're not good enough?
They'll do it, especially if you're not somebody that you're not their favorite. or somebody that you have a disagreement with. So it happens.
So you're dealing with, so you train children from what age in your program?
So my ages always start off from ages 7 to 14, 7 to 16.
So what's
and
that,
then,
like third grade, second grade?
Yes, about third grade, and then I go up to high school, and then sometimes I have college kids come through, and then sometimes I have overseas players that I train also.
So you were from high school, you were on your way to NBA. So you
Right.
injured your Achilles, which I know
Yep.
you got a prescription.
Yes.
So how did you not become addicted like maybe some others around you did?
Well, first, you couldn't tell me I was not going to the NBA. Nobody convinced me I was not going to the NBA. But so when I had got injured, I tore my Achilles tendon twice. I tore it 2 times. And the first time I tore it, they prescribed me Vicodin. And I just didn't like the feel of it because I'm one of those natural people that I love my fruits, my vegetables. Everything has to be natural. I don't like no medicine. And so when I did have that Vicodin, I didn't like how it felt. And I had it one time and I told my wife, I'm not doing it no more. I'm going to take this pain, whatever comes my way, naturally. And I just dealt with it that way because I didn't want to get hooked on anything. And I saw people get hooked on different various of things, whether it was depression, whether they brought into their condition and they didn't know how to get out of it. And I just didn't want to be in that condition. And so what I did with my time was I spent it on writing and I spent it on cooking. I spent it on trying, how can I get myself better and be prep work for next year so I can go back, try it also. So I just put that energy towards somewhere else.
Let's go back to that night you went to bed and this little voice, which we call God, spoke to you. So tell us how that night went and when you woke up. How did that go?
So a lot of people who knows me, my family, I'm not a big religion person. I'm not big on it. I'm more of like, it's a higher power, but there is a God. And I believe that when he comes in various ways. And when I went to sleep that night, the voice came to me and said, quit your job, quit everything. And I'm answering back in my mind, like, well, if I quit, how am I have any money? What do I supposed to do? What's the game plan? And it said, trust me, quit your job. Drove to work, went into work that day, put in my 1 week notice. It's supposed to be a 2 week. I did a 1 week notice. And my boss at the time thought I was crazy. She was like, well, how are you going to provide for your family? What about your insurance? And what about these things? But it starts scaring you because now you start thinking, oh man, I'm doing the wrong thing. Call my mother. I said, Mom, do you think I'm doing the right thing? And she said, Shawn, trust your heart. I called my brother. I'm with you. Do what's best for you. And I quit. And years later, that same supervisor texted me. It was like, how's life going? Everybody was wondering, how are you doing? I'm like, everything's going really great. And because they didn't think I would succeed. And it ended up being the best thing that happened for me.
And I know your wife was like, quit your job.
She was crazy. She said I was crazy. And she said, if I go this route, we're not going to be married. So if you go this route, we are not going to be married. And so what ended up happening is that almost like 2-3 weeks later, I got some insurance money back. And then something happened. My father had passed away 3 years ago prior. And they was talking about some insurance money supposed to be coming back. But I wasn't that close to my father, so I didn't want nothing from him. And I never went into detail when this money's supposed to come back. 2 weeks later, I get a call and say, hey, your insurance money will be arriving within 1 week. Wow. And I'm like, and so I used that money to start my business up. I started buying all my equipment. I started getting my LLC. I started getting my trademarks. I started getting all these things together. And that's why I used that money to build my business.
Right. And here you are still today, coaching kids all over the world. Isn't that something? Well, I'm really grateful. Jody Swatowski, shout out to Jody. She said that she brought her son to you and you worked with him and he's on the right track and he's doing well.
Yeah. They came one day. I trained him one day and she was like, you the best. We are with you. And she signed up for 6 months. She said, we want to sign up with you for 6 months. He's all yours. And she just said that you are great at what you do and your business will keep blossoming because of the work that you do. And she truly believed in me and believed in the whole process. She had the vocal voice to say it. And So she's still right behind it, and her son is doing really well now. He made his JV team. He a freshman and made JV.
So before we get out of here, I would like for you to say something to that athlete who is injured, who's hurt, and might have found themselves falling into addiction. Talk them back off that ledge.
So what I would tell them that is that, when you are facing them demons that might be coming to your mind, go the opposite way. Whether if it's your motivation might goes into writing a little bit more, your motivation might goes into cooking a little bit more, your motivation might goes into going jogging. You have to take the negative and turn to a positive any way you can look at it. Because if we excel at the negative, we can excel at the positive. So we just have to be able to turn those things around and find out what makes you happy and what impact do you want to have. And so it's very easy to get caught up in bad habits because we don't know another way, but it's okay we have access to get online, look for inspirational quotes. We have access to call up numbers to ask for help. So don't be afraid to ask for help, and don't be afraid to change up your everyday routine if it's not been benefiting you in the positive.
All right, Coach Shawn. He's out there in Clinton Township. Information is right there on the screen. Website is there. So look him up. He's highly recommended.
Yeah.
And you see the floor is right there waiting on you.
It's all set up. Everything is ready to go. And I haven't had one bad result in 4 years. So I must be doing something right. And everything is always word of mouth. And that's how the training works. Word of mouth.
Right. Okay, Coach Shawn, thank you again.
Thank you.
And we will be right back after these few words from our supporters. Fourth Quarter Sports is located at 24475 St. Francis Street in Clinton Township inside Precious Angels Christian Academy. For full details about their programs, visit their website, fourthquartersports.com. And thank you again, Shawn, for all that you do to help our youth all over the world.
Stay tuned for more of Ask the Messengers.
If you or someone you know is battling with any type of cancer, you need to read the book by Laverne Moore Slaughter, God Encounters Are Real. In her book, she tells how through prayer and faith, God healed her and set her free from stomach cancer. For more information and to get your copy, visit www.encountersarereal.net.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri, encouraging all taxpayers to please take advantage of the several payment options available. If you have to visit our office in person, you must make an appointment by going to treasurer.waynecounty.com. It only takes a few minutes. Facial covering or mask is required and social distancing is observed. You can also email our office at taxinfo@waynecounty.com or call us at 313-224-5990.
Kirk Page Collections, the brand you trust to deliver. If we don't have your size in stock, we'll go get it. We ship same day, so you don't have to wait for your order. We ship to any city in America, and 100% of our clothing is made right here in the US, right here at home. You want a new look going into the office tomorrow? Kirk Page Collections. Out on the town and want a trendy shirt to complement your outfit? Kirk Page Collections. No matter the life event, Kirk Page Collections has your back. Life's favorite brand.
I'm the 26th best quarterback in the entire nation, and I'm the 3rd or 4th best quarterback in the state of Florida. That's who I was. I was Alton, the football player.
High school star Alton Vaz always loved football.
And it brought the best out of me. And I realized that football was my way to get a scholarship. There was already the dream of playing the NFL, and I was on that track.
Alton earned a full ride to the University of South Florida. He reported to summer practice with high expectations, but the young freshman was redshirted and didn't get to play.
I'd never been, like the 2nd string guy or the 3rd string, or the guy that's just not going to play at all. Like there's no string for you. And so my ego was hurt, and I think it was a little bit of an identity crisis. Starting to feel like a loser at that point in my life.
He got heavily into the party scene and discovered alcohol soothed his bruised ego.
All those thoughts, all those worries, all that stress just went away, and I just had this good feeling.
By the spring, he added oxycodone to help him deal with years of football injuries.
And I just liked it. I liked what it did to me and how it made me feel. And I knew football was bringing a lot of pain into my life. And then one day I just said, I don't want to play football anymore. I gave up my full ride.
Back home, Alton faked an injury to maintain a supply of pain meds.
So when I quit football, there was a big void that needed to be filled. And my drug use filled that void. I'd go to the clinic every 28 days. I'd get 360 pills a month, and I became a drug addict.
Over the next 3 years, he got progressively worse. Then he went to see a friend in Michigan, hoping the change would help.
Just couldn't do anything right. Didn't have a direction. Didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
But the drugs had affected Alton's thinking. And one morning, while wandering the streets, he stole a car. After briefly driving around aimlessly, Alton ended up at a cemetery.
And as soon as I take my first step into the cemetery and break that threshold, I'm normal for the first time in about 4 days. And I'm looking around, and I realize that, you know, I'm gonna be dead like these people in front of me if I don't change my ways. And so at that moment, I got on my knees and I prayed to God for the first time in my life. And I just told him that, you know, I was tired of being tired. I was giving this to him. It was a huge relief. I had so much weight on my shoulders and where I was at, and just crying as I was giving that prayer. I mean, I felt like I was lighter. You know, I just released so much just junk. It was just very freeing.
Running out of a tunnel with 80 Vicodins, Percocets, Vioxx. I mean, Vioxx was great.
In 2014, Kyle Turley was one of more than 500 former players who took part in a class action lawsuit against the NFL alleging similar complaints, also charging that team medical personnel neglected to inform players of a serious health risk of drugs that they were taking.
After rehab, Alton returned to Holland, Michigan, where he attended Grand Valley University. He also got to play football again, but this time it wasn't what he lived for.
For me, it was a fresh start, which is what I wanted. And my identity was evolving into, you know, obviously a student athlete, but then, you know, I had this desire to share my story because I thought it was worth sharing and it could help people. I'm trying to prevent kids from making the same mistakes that I did. And the feeling that I get from sharing my story is the greatest high and the greatest satisfaction that I've lived so far.
Looking back, Alton can see God's hand on his life, guiding him and surrounding him with spiritual support.
If you're in a bad situation currently right now, or if you end up in one, ask for help. That's one thing I didn't do in the beginning. I didn't ask for help. And then that's when, you know, God came into the picture and said, I'm gonna save this guy. It was just very freeing.
Well, that concludes this week's episode of the Ask the Messengers TV show. We hope something you heard today helped you in some way to understand addiction and to give anyone struggling the desire to surrender and seek help. If you or someone you know is experiencing anything that seems to be too hard to handle, please know there is a way out and don't hesitate or be afraid to seek help. Until next time, may you seek a power greater than yourself so that you too can turn your mess into a message that will help save lives. Continue to stay safe and most importantly, be kind and love one another.
Won't you help us to do exactly what our motto is, and that is to help save lives? Won't you send a generous donation to the information there on the screen? We would love to have you as part of our partnership to help save lives. You may not be able to go out in the street, you may not be able to come here to the show, but you can send your donation that helps us save lives.
Well, we've got you all patched up. I'll give you a script for some ibuprofen, and that should help with the swelling.
Don't you think she might need something a little stronger?
You mean like this?
I don't think so. That's crazy.
Do you know that most prescription painkillers like Vicodin and Oxycontin are opiates, and they work just the same as heroin? And if not used sparingly, can lead to heroin addiction.
You know what? She's tough. We're just gonna stick to the ibuprofen.
Sounds good.